Hello, and welcome to the Integrate This EdTech podcast, the go-to digital space for educators and tech enthusiasts. I'm your host, Jeremy Mikla, along with my magnificent co-host, David Berner. Together, we are your navigators through the enthralling world of technology and education. As we unpack the most innovative EdTech tools and strategies, we invite you to join us in sculpting dynamic, tech-savvy classrooms. Poised for today's digital learning odyssey? Then let's plunge into the depths of innovation.
Last week, we continued our Google Essentials series by highlighting our top picks from Google Forms. In part 3, Jeremy and I will be unveiling our favorite features in Google Slides. We'd love to hear about your favorite features as well, so please leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to join our growing community by subscribing, liking our videos, and staying tuned for more tech magic.
All right, let's jump in by taking a look at how to customize and change the themes that you use within your Google Slides, because there's a lot of different options that are there. So I'm going to start out with a new tab open here, and I'm going to type in the URL slides.new to get a new Google Slides that gets added to my Google Drive. And as soon as that loads up here, I'm shown kind of the familiar landing page that you normally see when you open up a brand new Google Slides. And so from here, I get lots of different options about being able to customize the theme. So I'm going to start by going into the View menu and opening up the theme builder. And here you can see the template that is going to be used for this particular set of Google Slides. And right now it's just the basic black and white. And I'm going to click on this top theme part right here because what I put there is going to apply to the rest of the slides. Now, from here, there's some different choices that you have. You can go and use the tools that are up here along the top, and you could do things like change the background and choose a different color other than white. You can choose from some of the simple ones that are within the stock. You can pick some of the different ones from down below. You also can play around with adding a custom color. Maybe you want your slides to be using your school colors. So if you find the hex number that goes along with that, you can add that as a custom one in here. I'll just show you, for example, here, I can change the background to blue and choose done. Now, sometimes then it makes the fonts on there and the font colors sometimes hard to read. So I can go through and I can select this, and I could go up to my tools up here, for example, and I could choose to make the text color be white instead of that grayish color because it happens to stand out a little bit better. And when I made those changes up here to this top theme box, you can see in these other ones down below how it's going to change some of those colors. You can also go to each one of those individually and make some of those changes to different parts as well. But what I think is really kind of the cool thing here is that you can use this and actually change the theme for your whole presentation to a template slide that you've created. So if you've made a presentation and you really like the theme that's there, you can import that. So now I've got this toolbar, the themes toolbar, open up here on the right-hand side. I'm going to go and choose to import a theme. And it's going to take me to my Google Drive to find one of those presentations that I've used before. And maybe it's a recent one. I can also find it by entering in a search here for what I would like to use. And I find here's one that I like. I'm going to choose and insert that. Confirm that that's the one I want. And you will notice here that now it changed this theme and applied it to all of the different slides that I'm going to add to this Google Slides presentation. Similarly, you can also go through and say, I don't want this text box here and I want to resize it. And maybe I want to move it up into this space up here. And you can do all of those different things, and it's going to apply to all of the different slides that you add to this particular presentation. Okay, so now that I'm happy with that, I could also choose to give it a name so that I can always reference back to it whenever I want to, and choose it for future slideshows that I create. So that is using the customized themes here that are available within Google Slides. Okay, the next feature that I want us to highlight here is another one of my favorites, and it's an annotation feature that you're able to use with Google Slides when you are in that slideshow or presentation mode. So I have here on this particular slide a Venn diagram. We're going to compare apples and oranges. So what I'm going to do is to first begin presenting the slideshow. So I'm going to go up and just click slideshow, and it's going to open into that presentation view of the screen. And now from here, you could see that my Venn diagram is ready to go. I'm going to use my mouse or trackpad and hover over that bottom left-hand part of the screen where you see the slide number that you're on and whether you can advance or go back to a previous slide. And there's the three more dots for that are found in the bottom. I'm going to open that up, and one of the features that is on here is the pen feature. And I'm going to choose to turn on the pen. When I do that, you can see that I get this red dot, and I can use that then to add any sort of words onto the screen or any sort of arrows or symbols, anything that you want to draw or write from using your mouse or using your finger on the trackpad. So I'm going to write here that apples are red. Okay. Now I want to write something for oranges. One thing that I can do if I don't want it to be the same color, I can click on that pen that is down in that area in the bottom left-hand part of the screen, and I can choose a different color to do that. And right now, there's very limited colors that you're able to use. So I can't use an orange one to write that oranges are orange. And so I'm just going to use blue here to write that oranges are orange. Okay. Now, what if I want to add something, or if I wanted to remove something that I didn't like? Next to the pen is an eraser button. Currently, you can only choose to erase everything, not just one part of it, with this pen feature. So if I click erase, I can only choose erase all. And when I do that, it disappears. Okay, so that is a simple way to annotate over the top of your slides. It is only available in the presentation mode right now. There's few choices on colors and there's only an erase all. The other thing to point out is that it doesn't save it from one presentation to the next. So if I close out of this presentation mode, all of my annotations disappear as well. One of the things that you could do if you wanted to capture what you wrote because it was really, really awesome and you didn't want to redo it the next hour or with the next group of kids that come in, you could just take a screenshot of it and save that screenshot to be able to add it to your slide for later on. So the one other thing that I want to point out, because it's right next to the pen, is that you also get a laser pointer. And so you could use the laser pointer here and if you wanted to highlight a particular thing on the screen. And again, it's very simple where you find it, you turn it on and off in the same place. So those are the tips and the tricks that I have here to share with you. David is going to show us some other things as they relate to Google Slides.
Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to actually show us how to do a couple things here, and I'm going to try to correlate them all together. And the idea behind this is that let's say that you're having your students do a presentation on U.S. presidents. This is just the theme that I chose just for simplicity's sake. Um, but this could apply to anything, any almost any grade level. Those that you would do presentations for. But the very first thing that we're gonna do is I want to show how to take a text, or you'll notice over here I have some images of these presidents. So from 1788 to 1820, got 5 presidents in here, and just linking up to other slides. And then what we'll do is once we have those linked up, we're going to show how to take the URL from this and then just do where it has we're going to change the back of the URL so that when you share the link, it will automatically prompt to make a copy. And then from there, what we'll do is we'll take a look at once the student has it in their possession, once they have the copy, how would you, let's say you wanted them to add videos to this presentation about these presidents. We'll look at how do you add a video into a slide space, and then more importantly, once the video is in, how do you format it to get it to what you want it to do with the formatting features. So the very first thing is if we have our presentation, linking these is actually fairly simple, and it now will come up with the option to link to slides as soon as you do it. So if I was to highlight this text, I really can do it one of two ways. I can right click on it and go to link, or I can go to insert and choose link here as well. It's just kind of a preference thing. That's just how Google does it. There's always multiple ways to do things. But you'll notice that when I do click the link, there's right away, there is this slide 2 that comes up. And that's what I want. I want a link to the George Washington slide so that this text is clickable and basically bookmarks this slide so that I can go directly to it from this title page here. What's nice as well is that knowing that this feature is commonly used, they actually have on the bottom here slides in this presentation. And this is probably the quickest way, especially if you have a long stream of slides. In this one, we've only got 6, but if you click here, you're going to see all of the slides that are part of this presentation. And that would be the best way to do it. You can also, one other thing is you could type it in as well. So a couple different ways to go about it. We're going to choose the slides in this presentation option, and we're just going to link to George Washington, right? And so now you can see that this is linkable here. So if I was to do a slideshow, and when I'm in it, if I click the George Washington text, it's going to bring me straight to that slide. So we want to do that with all of these. And so we would just go ahead and we would link in slide 3, slide 4 for our Thomas Jefferson one. And what's kind of nice is you're probably noticing that when I highlight this text and click link, it's actually it's reading that this text here is the same. And then when you click link, it's already there at the top. So it's recognizing that. Okay. Now, what I do want to do is I want to just show, like, if you don't want to do text, you can still do the same thing here with the picture. So we're going to, and I don't think, yeah, it doesn't come up here. So if I just want to do insert and do link, and then for this one, the images are operating a little bit differently, but you can see you can still link up the image as opposed to the text if you want. Same here. So go to link and we'll type in slide 6 for James Monroe, and that's all linked up. And we'll do this just so that it's complete here too. Okay, so now we have everything linked up. So now it's a matter of we want to get this out to our students so that they can begin to complete this assignment, put in information if that would be what you want to do, or like what we're going to try to do is just put in a video for a couple of these. But what we can do is if you take the link here, you'll notice that at the top, it has this little edit button here. And so if I was to, I'm gonna take this and we're gonna copy this over, and I'm gonna remove this piece here, and I'm just going to do copy. I'm gonna type in copy, and then it's gonna give me this page. And this is what we actually want to save or send to the students. So if you're in Google Classroom, or something or whatever learning management system, you can pull this uh, link and send that to the students so that the minute that they click on that link or that it's entered into their browser, they can just click make a copy, and that's going to automatically generate their own copy for them, which is going to be associated with their Google account. And then likewise too, it's really nice for like if you're using Google Classroom, they'll have their own copy of it as well to turn in. So that's how you do that. You just take that link, paste it in, and then we just remove the back end, put copy, and there we go. And you can do that with any of your slideshows that you have. Okay, so that's our second piece. And then the last thing is once students have their copy, what we want to do is we're going to look at how to insert a YouTube video. You could actually, technically speaking, you could really put in other videos as well. So if you have them in your Google Drive or things like that. But for this purpose, what we'll do is we're just going to click in the body of our slide here and click insert, go to video, and then we're going to look up George Washington biography. Now, we don't know which of these are good and which are not. Um, so we have to actually, maybe take a look at this, and as a student, whoever's putting it in is going to want to take a look at it. Some of these are really long, so that's probably not going to be what we're looking for. But I noticed this little mini bio here, and this is from biography. So we can click that, and once we do, we can click insert, and it's going to put it into this space here. um, the one thing that you can do with this is once it's in this space, and really technically speaking, I mean, you wouldn't have to click into that box. You could just do insert and pull it in. Um, but you can, with the formatting, do quite a few different things. One of them, obviously, as you can see, I can resize this to whatever makes the most sense for my presentation. Maybe I have some items on the side or some text on the side, and the video is going to accompany that text. But for this purpose, we'll basically just make it really large, and then this can be played upon clicking it. One thing that you can do right away is if you were doing this in slideshow form, rather than clicking on the play button, what you could do is you could have it play automatically so that when it goes to slide 2 in presentation mode, it would just start playing, right? So if this is something that students are going to be presenting at the front of the classroom, for example, they maybe do want that to just start playing, and not have to bother with clicking on anything. The other thing you can do, and this would be maybe more appropriate for some of those longer videos we saw, is you can choose a start and end time for whatever video you put in. So if you're just looking to get a short segment of something, maybe we want to just take 2 minutes of that. We're going to actually have it start at 2:46, and in your preview screen, what you can see is the filler for the duration here is going to go all the way to 2:46, so that when I go to that slide and it starts playing automatically, it's going to start at that point, which is really nice because if you're just trying to take like a snippet of something to accompany your presentation, that's how you would just have it be a little shorter of a clip. Another interesting thing you could play around with too is the mute audio. Um, Maybe it's a video where you just want it to be primarily visual, and so you're going to mute the audio so that as the video is playing, maybe the student is still talking through that, and the video is just showing something as they're going through their presentation. A few more things here: size and rotation. You can change through here by entering in the aspects. Again, you can just drag the corners and things too, if that's what you want to do. You can change the position of it. Maybe we'll just put it in the center there. Drop shadows, it's not really something that I ever play around with too much. Not to say you couldn't, but sometimes this is maybe more appropriate for images. And then one thing that I do like that they have is the alt text. This is so if you have students that maybe need to have screen readers, they would be able to have this alternative text that gets put in here to describe the video and what it's all about. So those are some things you can do with formatting of videos, copying the presentation, and then also jumping around and bookmarking slides to quickly navigate through them.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Integrate This EdTech podcast. We hope you picked up some valuable insights for your instructional and classroom use. Special thanks to David Berner and to all of our viewers for joining us in this digital exploration. My name is Jeremy Mikla, and until next time, keep integrating, innovating, and shaping the future of education. Happy teaching, everyone.
And don't forget to subscribe to our Integrate This YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and X for the latest tutorials and discussions in EdTech. Next week, we will be joined by special guest Nicole Pruden to discuss the best tips for teachers when it comes to cybersecurity in their everyday teaching.